Again, if this is gross, fast forward. Well, guess what happens? 6 minutes go by. And the reason I know it's 6 minutes is because I have all the times from the long incident report I had to write. I contacted the coroner, and 6 minutes go by. And we're about to load up and leave. And I hear, my mouth dropped. I was like, everybody turned. So the way he had landed and was laying, the pressure, he shifted pressure. So what happened is he ended up kind of leaning over some more. And when he did, it released that pressure and he took a breath. Oh, but then he takes another one and another one. And I'm like, I look at Ken, my partner, I'm like, we gotta transport him. We can't leave him here breathing. You can't just wait it out, right? Oh my gosh, it went from hell to hellacious hell's hell. I don't know. And now we're having to load him up in our ambulance and bring him in with half a brain and explain that to the doctor, who's not going to be happy because you can't put a brain back. And at the same time, I can't leave a breathing patient on scene. And I'm already traumatized because he did it in front of me. And then it made it made such a mess in the back of the ambulance. We had to take it to the fire station and use a fire hose to clean out our truck. It was that nasty. And when I finished that call, I was in such a numb state. I didn't hear a word anybody was saying. They could talk to me, and I saw their mouth moving, and nothing was processing with me. It was bad. It was bad. So all of a sudden, as we're finishing up, and it took us a good hour and a half to clean our truck and get it back 10-8. 10-8 means in service. We were 10-7, out of service. The minute we went 10-8, we get a call, and it's an assault off of Millerville. Yeah, I can't even explain what I felt. And it was code 1. It was like the assault happened an hour ago. They don't even know if the assailant's on the scene. We pull up, routine. I couldn't get out of the truck. And I looked at Kent. He didn't either. And I said, dude, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? And it was the trauma, right? But I was scared. I can't even explain it. Why was I scared? Was I scared of my life? I don't know what I felt. I felt fear. And it was a trauma response is what it was. Your mind, is trying to process something it can't process, so it's pulling out all the stops, and your world just fell apart, and you don't know where it went. But that's how I felt. I felt fear, and then I kept saying, why do I feel fear? Like, that doesn't make sense. I'm not understanding it. I don't understand. Well, we finally, both of us, get out of the truck, and we walk down the driveway, and we turn around, and there's the carport, and the guy's standing there with a tiny little cut on his head. I said, that's not even bleeding. When did that happen? He's like, 2 hours ago. I'm like, why'd you call? Do you need an ambulance? Because I don't even think you need a Band-Aid. It's not bleeding. He's like, yeah, probably not. Probably not. I'll just wait for the police. And I'm like, and I just stood there looking at him. No expression, no feeling, no judgment, just like, what the hell am I doing here? And what I was really focused on was, why did I feel fear? Why am I feeling fear? This kind of call is something we get all the time. Not usually just a little cut like that. Usually people need some type of assistance, but assaults are normal. And I could not figure it out. And I went through about 5 days of pure hell, but luckily, I don't remember a lot about it. Like, that's how bad it was. I was an autopilot. I can seriously tell you, I don't remember a lot of the next week. That's how severe the trauma was. And I'm sure they did a debriefing with us, because when you witness something like that, of course, you're going to have the CISD team. Critical Incident Stress Debriefing is what that is. And I was on the team, but they're going to address that. But I don't even remember them addressing it. And here's the crazy part. Ken, I don't know if I should use his name. Let's call him Donnie. He and I had worked together several times. We weren't regular partners, but he'd been around for a good 10 years. And, yeah, he left. It was sad, I mean, it could be that one call that's just like a no. It's a deal breaker. And you never know what kind it's going to be. I'll say this one other thing, and I'll get off that subject. It wasn't long after it was not long after, maybe a few weeks after, I'm finally feeling a sense of normalcy after that shooting. And I get a call, a fourplex, it was a fire. It's cold outside. Long story short, Mom left, went down to the neighbors. There were 7 children, all under the age of 10, and all of them died but one. Well, I don't know, maybe the baby may have died, but when we pulled up the fire department, the fire, they had thought they had gotten it somewhat under control, but then nope, it's now blazing in the back. So I run in. I don't have any gear, but I know there are 7 kids, and it's chaos. And so I ran in, covered my mouth with a wet cloth, and I couldn't see. It's nothing but smoke, and it's dark. And I started from the left side of the room, and I just felt my way around the room. I was running my hands, down the wall, on the floor. I was trying to find a baby, a child, and I found several, and I would listen to them, because I can't see them, but I would check for a pulse. But I'm checking for a pulse and listening at the same time to see if they're breathing. And I'm like, the first one, nope, no breathing. And we had a system. We had 2 or 3 ambulances, and I was upstairs, so I would hand the child to my partner or one of the police officers, and I would say, run this to truck number 1 or run this to truck number 2. And then I find the second child, and then I find the third child. None of them are breathing. And I realized that my partner had gotten hung up with, I don't remember what it was. It was something legit, though. He wasn't doing nothing, but he was, because that's what it was. The other truck, the truck that was in front of us, got pulled over to some other event, or somebody had gotten injured or something. But anyway, my point is, I was relying on this pretty young police officer to help me out, take these kids to whichever truck, just handle, help me out. And he was running with full force, running, anything you need, I've got it. So I get 6 out, get down to the last one, and he's breathing. He's a baby. And I took off, and I just hauled ass to the truck, and I'm like, we got it, we got to go. He's the only one. He's extremely critical. And y'all, when we were about to close the back doors to leave, I looked back, and the police officer that had been running back and forth, I noticed the soot around his mouth. He was doing mouth to mouth on these kids, rescue breathing, doing everything he could to save their life. And I just noticed it was like this pause of silence, in a critical situation. And I just noticed him, and all of a sudden he turns around and he puts his hands on the hood of his car. And he just sobs. I'm like, oh, God. With this soot on his mouth. And he's, it's this helpless, it's the adrenaline, it's the helpless feeling, you just witness all these kids die senselessly. And there's no way to go there, right? Everything just flooded out. And I had to leave him. I had to transport this kid. And I went looking for him. I didn't know his name. He was kind of a new guy. And I was asking around, the guy, I finally found out who he is. And I'm asking around, and he quit. Isn't that crazy? That's all it takes. All he wanted was to be a police officer. That's all he wanted. Looking forward to it since he was a kid. And that one event, it just changed the course of his life. And I'm not judging that, because I think we all end up where we're supposed to be, right? The ebb and flow of life. But it was such a weird, raw, beautiful, sad, funny career. I don't regret any of it. And the camaraderie we had was amazing. It's actually been nice talking about it. I haven't talked about it in so long. Isn't that kind of weird? It's nice talking about it, and I'm talking about all this gore. I don't mean it like that. It's deeper than that. That profession is deeper than that. It's something you could never understand, I don't think, unless you've been there, because it's a powerful place to be, and it's a horrible place to be, and Yeah, wow. What a wild ride. Yeah, cool. All right, I'm going to end this one on a high note. That'd probably have to be paramedic humor, but I'm actually thinking as a high note because it feels good. Anyway.